Hello everyone, welcome to my live stream. It's Friday, which means it's Chibi Friday, and I already have this Chibi that I started last week. It is a Chibi caricature. Come on camera, you can do it. No, today camera doesn't want to work. Alright, there we go. Focus on it, up close. Chibi Kumo, this is my little white pigeon. Well, he's white and gray. And we got these lines done last week. So this week it's going to be coloring. And I've got my little Copics watch book ready to go. So let's just go ahead and jump in. There's no reason to delay. Wait, I know what I need. Hold on, there is a reason to delay. I need to get my reference photo up. So I'm just going to get on Google Photos. Google Photos, and it's so nice because I can just type in bird in the search and it'll search my photos for things that look like birds, and then up comes Kumo. So let's see, I'm using the picture where he's laying down from last November. Yeah, there he is. Oh, so cutesies. There he is. There's a, well, it's not really focused, but that's the reference picture. And I'm going to zoom in. Actually, let me see if I can do my phone sideways. Yeah. Set that up on my stand. And there, I've got his reference picture. So the coloring will probably go pretty fast today because he's just all gray and white with a little bit of pink on his beak and around his eye. Ooh, Exie, hello! How are you doing? Yay! It's so great to see you! I mean, I always say that, and I always say that. And then one day I'm going to have a stream where I'm always saying that I'm always saying things, because I always am. Anyway, I hope you're doing well. Was your, did you have a great Friday? Because I imagine it's probably Saturday already where you are. Or getting close. I can't remember. I don't know exactly how the days work with the time zones around the world, but I think the way the world, literally the way the world turns, it gets the next day comes to you sooner. I'm pretty sure, sooner than here. So let's see, what color should I do for him? Definitely not cool gray. This neutral gray is looking kind of good, but there's also toner gray. Oh, maybe this toner gray. Warm gray is a little too warm. Oh yeah, it's already Saturday where Exie is. Be back in a minute. Okay, I'll be here. Yeah, I think either toner gray or neutral gray. Neutral gray is still a little bit cooler than toner gray. Oh, it's very hard to say. Plus, the reference image is probably affected by what my screen is doing. I like toner gray just because it's a warmer look overall, and warmer colors feel more, well, warmer, so happier and cozier and cuddlier. So, he runs the gamut of grays. So, maybe even I'll start with 0. So that would be 0, 2, 4, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Okay, so I'll start with 0 and get every other toner gray. T0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. This will cover most of his coloring, because he's mostly white, except for his tail and this part of his wing. So let me get these in order. I like to have them in order so I can just grab them without having to double check what the color is. And then with markers, the same as with watercolor, always easiest to start with light colors. Because if you put dark colors down first and then try to do light colors, you could pull the dark colors into the area you don't want. So in this reference photo, he just has a little bit of white because of the way the light is hitting him. There's just like a little bit on his back, which you can't even see because the chibi head is so much bigger than in real life. Then the tip of his head, and maybe I'll just do the whole head like this. And then maybe a little bit like on his chest and the tip of his wings. So I'm going to use this big chisel end. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to adjust my screen because I just realized I had to turn my head really far to see the chat. So I'm going to push my screen this way so it's easier. I'm also going to take a sip of water. For some reason today my voice feels really rough. I don't know if it comes through over the stream or anything, but it's my voice feels really rough and deep or something. I don't know what it is. What's going on with my voice today? I don't know. I don't think I'm sick or anything. It's just a deep voice day, I guess. Okay, I'm just coloring in all the areas that are, in fact, I'll do that wing too, and just trying to leave white any areas that I want to actually remain as light as possible. The whiteness of the paper. Otherwise, filling in with this toner 0 marker. I'm trying to work quickly so that I don't have too many streaks, where with markers it can dry really fast with these alcohol-based markers, and then you'll end up with streaks. And I don't want that as much as possible. Or if there are streaks, I want them to be controlled and because I left them there or because I did it on purpose. Of course, sometimes you can't help it and you've got to just work with it. It's all part of the fun of physical media stuff. But this marker is nice and juicy, so everything went down really smooth, because when it's super juicy, it puts down enough that it doesn't dry too fast, and then your next layer as you're going down, it's still wet up here, and so it smoothly like connects the two applications, and then the whole thing is nice and smoothly colored. I love it when my camera just autofocuses when I hold it up or when I put it down. And then sometimes it's like, nope, not doing it. I don't know what the difference is. Okay, so we're just gonna work down. I don't think I'll go any darker on the white feathers than this one, because it really is quite white. Maybe, no. This is the darkest I'm going to go, the T2. And then there is like around here where this line, where you can see where the two halves of his chest, the feathers are plumping out in opposite directions, so there's kind of a line there. I'll do that with colored pencil toward the end. As far as marker goes, this is going to be the darkest. In fact, I'm just going to use the smaller bullet end. Oh, there's like a little kitty hair or something on it. That's life with a bunch of pets. There's always kitty hairs and puppy hairs all over everything. Okay, so now I'm just adding a little bit of darker to give him, because he's laying down. So where the feathers curve under, where he's laying, that's a lot darker. So I'm going to put that all along the bottom here. And then maybe a little bit where his wing. So right here, his wing is actually coming over, but then right here, these feathers are coming over the wing. And then also just these areas where he's puffed up. And I'm purposefully doing little lines instead of trying to do a block, because you can see all the little tiny lines from these itty bitty feathers. And right here where the mouth is, and right where it closes. And then here. Oh, welcome back! I'm tempted to ask where he went, but it's might not be my business, so just letting you know, I'm a little bit curious where you went, but it's not a problem if it's not important or whatever. Let's see. Oh, and there's a little bit coming up along this side. And I'll accent this divide here and bring some up that way. And then his wing, of course, needs a little darker, especially near this, I don't know what this is called, like the rib of the feather. I don't know what that's called, but there's definitely a dark shadow right there. And then this is actually the underside. So this is the outside part of his wing, but this is the underside part of the opposite wing. So it's much darker in comparison. Okay, and then the tail is almost completely dark. There's just some little bits on these two where you can see, because he has a stripe along his tail feathers. A white stripe. I think it's called a bar in the like official Pigeon fancier's language or whatever. Okay, I'm looking closely at my reference image to try to see what the feathers are doing. So I think where they're overlapping, you can sort of see through each of them. There's something like that happening. So just kind of imitate it. Oh, and these should be quite dark. Oh, hey, nice. One of my friends just started a stream in the same minute with you. I wanted to say hi to them. How long do they stream? Because maybe you can, I don't know. That's like a tough decision. Like, I'm honored that you came back over here. But if they stream for a lot longer than me, I always do relatively short streams, I think, compared to a lot of other people. It's like, I don't want to keep you away from your friend. Okay. Yeah, I think this is good enough for now. I might go over it a little bit more later once I get the other darker stuff down, but for the white feathers I think this is enough, because his white feathers are so white that there's not even that much shadow on them. They're just kind of just really bright white. Okay, next we're going to do the lighter colors on his wings. This is gonna go really fast. I've only been going for less than 15 minutes and I feel like he's halfway done being colored. Maybe I'll be able to finish a Chibi in 2 streams. What? Well, we'll see. I've got my colored pencils right over there on the shelf if I get that far within a single stream. Actually, I'm going to use the other end. So I'm on the T4 level darkness toner gray, and I'm just going to color this whole wing in, because the single area where there's like a big highlight on it is being covered up in the Chibi version because the head is so big. Normally it's right here, but the head would normally only be this big if this was proper proportions. So I'm just gonna take this and fill in this wing. Gotta be careful around the edges, but I don't want to take too long either, because I don't want to get any stripes in here that I'm not doing on purpose. Okay, yep, this whole thing. Oop, a little dot right there. Oh, and the tail. I had to switch to the, oops, I forgot to put this end back on. Okay, let's switch to the tail. Switch to the small end for the tail. Oh, Exy says, no problem at all. Oh, yay. Yay. I'm not very interested in the game they are playing, so I just did my friendship duty. Aw. Well, thank you again. I'm honored that you came back over here. I feel special. Yay, what a great Friday. I know, I always say that, but it really is. It's so fun. Because this is pretty much the last thing I do on Fridays is a live stream. And then the follow-up stuff after the live stream, and then I'm done with work for the week. Okay, let me see. So it gets really dark where so he basically has 3 colors in his plumage. White, gray, and a dark gray that's so dark it may as well be black. So I think maybe what I'll do with this next one, T6, next level of darkness, is just do a little shading right here under the wing. And then I'll jump all the way to T10 to get the little lace pattern on his wings and do his tail. That's my plan. So actually I keep changing my mind which side I want to use. For the shading, I just want to do one big block, so I'll just use this end. The big chisel tip, I mean. There. Okay, jumping all the way to T10. Definitely want to use a small end. And then I got a little dot of gray right here. And I keep thinking it's a little speck, but it's just a single little loop of gray. Okay. So I won't be able to perfectly replicate his pattern on his wings, but I'll do my best to get the right sense of it. Because it's not like every feather is exactly the same. Some have a little bit more, some have a little bit less. It's like almost like they don't have it at all, or it's just like a little bit on one side. So I'm like looking up at my reference and looking down as I work. And that's kind of hard sometimes because then I forget where I was. But I think I got this. There's a lot more splotches of black here and a lot less until you get to the very end, and then there's a lot more down here. Okay, so yeah, like this feather right here almost has the whole feather is a little dark blotch. And here's another one. But then here's one with just a little edge. And some of them it goes up the middle too, so like there's a dark edge and then it comes up a little, like a little point. Okay, here's where it starts to get a little sparse, but it does seem to be stronger toward the bottom part of his wing for whatever reason. Whatever reasons his genes decided to connect that way, I guess. Okay. So like on these ones, there's just a little tiny triangle, maybe, or just a line, or a couple little things, little chip, 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 like that. Feathers are so interesting to me, maybe because it's because I never had a bird. Well, I think that they're more interesting to me now that I have a bird. They're like plastic tube with hard hairs. Yeah, like now that I've had a bird as a pet and seen how their feathers grow in, because they shed their feathers just like a cat or a dog sheds their fur. And it's so weird. You're right, like they grow out, like a little tube grows out of them. And then the little hairs come out of the tube. And it's just like, whoa, what is the mechanism? Like, how does that happen? Like, I don't know that much about birds. It makes me feel like, yeah, I don't know very much about them at all. They have this whole world and experience that's just like natural to them. Like, what? Because for us, hair is just like a string and that's it. Like, there's not something inside the hair like gonna spread out. Yeah, they're really cool. I love seeing this different way that life developed, or like a different way to be. I've been reading this book called The Bird Way, and it has all this cool information about birds and just like how they live and different things they do, and like this is so amazing. And yeah, I always think that every time there's a feather, like a big feather is shed by my birds, then I like look at it and I'm like examining it, because sometimes they grow a little bit different, or sometimes they're like higher quality and they might have like little holes in them sometimes, and I've read that that's a sign that it didn't grow that well. And then other times it's just like a perfect feather and there's just no defect in it whatsoever. But then they're like already growing a new one, and it's really funny when they shed all the feathers on their head, they have just like a little spiky head, like they're little punks. Because they just have all those, I think they're called pin feathers, when they grow out as the tube when it's a brand new feather. And so it's just like a spiky head, like a mohawk, but all over the head, I guess. It's just so interesting. It's like they don't show you that on documentaries. And maybe it's not that hard to, maybe it's not that easy to see that kind of thing when you're trying to film for a documentary out in the wild or something, but nobody talks about that. How cool feathers are. I guess it's a niche interest. Okay, so I'm seeing some areas where it would be helpful to use this T8, which I skipped before. And it's down here where these feathers are covering up other ones as the wing is curving under. So I'm just going to do a little hatching with the marker to accentuate the curve, I guess, or really get that sense of it's covering, certain feathers are covering other feathers. And I wonder if I do the T4, or was the T4 too light? I'll try this T6. Oh, small end. Small end is what I want. Yeah. Kind of do the same thing with some of these. I don't want to do it too much though, because it is pretty flat. It's not it's not like a shingled roof. It's all laying really flat against each other, but yeah, I think that's good. Okay, now that I've got a lot of the lace pattern on here, I can see that I want to add more black right here when I'm looking at the reference image over there. And then over here is still not quite, so I think I need more right here and right here. How's that? Now maybe just little lines here and there. Oh, yeah, I like that. Not an exact replica, but I think a pretty good approximation of what the pattern on his feathers is. Plus, I can add more small details when I switch to colored pencils. Oh, Exy says, yeah, they're also so variable. There are huge feathers on the wings and tiny on the body. Yes! This guy has the tiniest feathers ever. Like, off his head is like this little, like, this little teeny tiny itty thing. But then his wing feathers are like this long. Like this one will be the longest feather on his body, and it's like, it's a decent size for, you know, he's only like this long. Yeah, and his head is like this tiny, almost, well, they're not microscopic because I can see them, but they're like unbelievably small. And like it's perfectly smooth because they're so small, it just looks like one big thing. Like how skin looks like one big thing. That's what it looks like on top of his head, but it's like magical. His feathers growing out on his head is it's a magical thing. All right, let's see. Oh, his tail. So his tail is quite dark, not just because it is just a dark color to begin with for the most part, but also because it's in shadow behind his wing. But I'm also leaving here's a little bit lighter, the tiniest bit, because he's got that bar on his tail, and then so there's dark you can see on all of them. Now we'll use probably this T6 because it is still really subtle, the difference between this dark gray and then the like almost black gray. And then this one goes like this. Okay. There, that's good. Okay, his tail's done. His is he done? He might be done. I want to do a little bit more dark here, even though this is the same feathers as here, and I'll bring it under here too so it's not confusing, but this is so in shadow that it needs to be a lot darker. I'll do a little bit like right there, maybe right here too. Some little tiny instances of darker, especially towards the bottom, because then it gives it a sense of, even though there's no environment or anything, it still gives it a sense of weight and like he's sitting on something. Like gravity is having an effect or something like that. What's that? That line was disappearing that I had put there. So, okay, yeah, I'm going to do a little bit more on this backside wing. 2. There. And then here, the line where the white is covering up the darker gray feathers is not as clear as I'd like it, so I'm going to work on that a little bit. Yep, there. A little bit right there too. Yay! Okay, I'm just taking a look at it real quick. I can't decide. show you if it'll focus. So on his nose right here. Come on, focus. Camera doesn't want to focus. Come on, you can do it. There we go. So on his beak, there's this part where there's some feathers growing out, but you can still see the beak underneath. So I think what I'll do is color his beak white, and then I'll use white gel pen on the beak to get that effect. So that the pink of the beak will show through, and then the white gel pen will be sitting on top. Okay, I'm just taking one last overall look, but I think I'm satisfied with the gray marker. So I'll set those to the side, and I just need to pick a pink. Probably just need 2 colors of pink, because it's such a small area, just the beak and around the eye. Now let's do actual pink, not earthy pink. Ooh, maybe this pinkish white or pale cherry pink. Yeah, I'll go with R00, and then for the darker color, or this one. That's not pink enough. That's a little too orange, I think. Ooh, although there is this, like maybe if I did, okay, I'm trying to cover up the other colors. Now that's too vibrant still. Yeah, I'll do this R00 and then R32. R00, R stands for red, and R32. I'm just going to color in around the eye, and I think, yes, so what I've drawn here is also, you can see the skin. So his feathers don't grow exactly up to his eyelids. There's a little bit of space around there. And then the same thing, just color in the whole beak. Excellent. Yeah, you can't even really see on the camera. It's such a light pink. It doesn't make that much difference on camera. Okay. Now this is just where there's a slightly darker area. Like where there's cast shadow, basically. I'm looking at the reference photo a lot because it's such a tiny. In fact, let me zoom in. That'll help. Oh yes, okay. Since his eyes are so dark, it's not a problem if I color in the eye a little bit, because his eyes are so dark brown that you can't even tell. You can't tell what color they are unless the light is shining directly in them. To add to that effect that I'm going to go for, I'm not coloring in this top part of the nose, just doing little dots of color. So that'll add even more to it, I think. Ah, he's looking so cute. Okay, I think the last thing I need to do is just pick a brown for his eye. Yeah, to go with this E49 Dark Bark, which is the darkest brown I have. What was it? E49. Oh, Exy says it's gorgeous. Thank you. Yay. It's all thanks to Kumo. He's so beautiful. He makes it easy. He makes it so easy. I don't even have to try. Oh, here we go. It's becoming... Now it's becoming just like him. It's so cute because his eyes are so dark that they look like anime eyes where it's just one big giant black thing with a big shiny on it. So cute. There it is. Yep, that's so accurate. I mean, I don't even think the camera is picking up on... I think it's too dark. Can you focus this close, camera? Maybe it's a little too close. Yeah, I think it can't focus that close, but... Yep. With the naked eye, you can see, if you hold it just right, the ink parts, the black ink parts, but this is... It's just like real life, where you can't tell. Unless the sun is shining on it just right. Or whatever, like the light in his, I call it his apartment. Okay. What the heck? Wow. We're 36 minutes into the live stream, and I think we're done with marker. So let's get the colored pencils out. It has been a long time since I've been able to finish a Chibi in only 2 streams. I think that it's going to happen this time, though. It's all thanks to Kumo being so easy to draw. Okay, colored pencils. I'm getting my big kit because I have a smaller, like, what is it? I don't know, but this is 120. I have a smaller kit of the same Prismacolor, but I want this one because it has this huge array of grays so that I can match it with Kumo. Although I remember I need to put it over here, otherwise there's no room for the picture to be on camera. Okay, get that tape out of the way. Now it doesn't exactly match. They have, so Copic has 4 ranges of gray. Prismacolor, at least in this kit, has 3. But I'm thinking this is warm gray. I think this will be the best match. Alright, well, we're gonna find out. I'm gonna start with the darkest one they have. Let's see, I've got to zoom out on my photo. On my reference photo. There we go. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good match. Yay. I'm just adding little details. It's especially nice on some of these feathers because they really are like line looking. Where the light gray and the dark gray are combining, there's like lines of dark gray and light gray going like this. Oh, Exy says, after learning 007, I'm questioning other numbers, like is 880 pronounced 880? It's interesting. Because, so the number you wrote, 880, it's like it depends on the context and also just depends on the person. Because for me, I say 880, but you could say 880, or you could just say 880, especially if it's a phone number or an address. But it's not necessarily that you would, because if your address was 880, you could say 880 blah 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 street or whatever, or you could say 880 blah 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 street. So yeah, it's a really context based thing for some of those numbers. So Satuita, hi. Ooh, so you're about to start working on some art too. Satuita says, I'm in the studio having a snack before I start. Aw, he's looking so cute. Oh yeah, here's a close-up for you. I just got done with the marker and started the colored pencil. Because he's all gray and white. He's been so fast to, so fast to color. So yeah, I shall, resume my coloring. And I want to make sure not to put too much dark down, because I also want to take the opportunity to add some subtle highlights to the upper feathers. And I'm smoothing the transition between the grays on the tail. Okay, and so now I'm going to do but I remember that it's really best to just use the white on the marker to get those highlight looks, because it doesn't fill it all the way in, so it already sort of becomes whatever color you're overlaying. I'll get my brush so I'm not putting the oils from my skin too much on the paper, by wiping away the little excess that comes off whenever you do a little bit of colored pencil. Oh yay! This is what I was hoping to get. So that we don't just have dark at the bottom, but some light at the top. But also, since the giant chibi head is so big, I'm not going to bring the highlights all the way up, because it's going to be like, this is causing some shade on the top part of the wing, even though in real life, the wing is above the head at this point. Or like, not above, but it's definitely the head is not casting any shadow on the top of the wing in the real life situation. I think it looks just like him. Yay, I love doing a chibi caricature of my own pets, because then it's like, oh, there's my pet. I agree. It like, what am I trying to say? It's like it feels so good when I recognize my pet on the paper. Whatever, like it's not like it comes out before I put the color in. It doesn't necessarily feel that way. But then there's a moment when you put the color on and you're like, oh, there they are. It actually really does look like them, or whatever, you know? Maybe you don't know, but yeah, feels good. Feels good when it's like a physical feeling of recognizing my pet on the page. It's a good feeling. Okay. Yeah, dang, I think I'm getting real close to done. I'm going to use a little bit of pink around his eye, because this is not as dark as I'd like. And it's got a sort of purple tint to it. So I'm going to use this like purpley pink that I see right here, and hopefully that'll be good. Oh yeah, that's nice. Nice. That's much better. So there's not just like one big bright ring, little subtle differences in this small area. And I'll bring the color into the beak too, because it's pretty much the same. And there's even this interesting line on his beak on the top and the bottom. So I'll get that in there. It's like it just seems like that's how it grows. There's like a line going up and a line going down. Okay. Excellent. What else? I think that might be ready, or do I want to do... Nah. I was thinking about maybe using a little colored pencil on this fluffy part of the body, but I like how it's looking very soft with the thicker marker lines. I think if I add fine lines, it'll make it a little harder looking, even though I do see really fine lines in the photo. So yeah, I'll leave that. Then his eye, maybe I'll do just a tiny bit of some lighter brown. So the light is hitting his eye right here. So I will light up the inside of his eye a little bit. Let's see what color would be good. Maybe this one. Just a little subtle lighter bit. So like the light is hitting the eye, passing through because it's a ball, and then hitting the iris right there before the light enters the pupil. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's what I'm doing. That's my thought process right there. Ah, it looks really good. I don't know if the camera will pick it up though, because the surrounding area is so bright, it's really hard for the camera to... I think you can sort of see this little tiny bit of lighter brown right where it's going into the iris. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm ready just to do some fun color with the colored pencils and then do some white gel pen. And then that's perfect timing because we got about 12 minutes. So, what is that purple that I usually like to use? I think it's this one. Probably because it's the shortest purple. I think this is the one that I usually like to just add in to shadow areas to make it more colorful and fun. Oh yeah, it looks good. Looks good. This is the one. This is the one I like. Although depending on the color, sometimes I'll use a slightly different one. I'll use a darker one if it's really not showing up at all. It just makes such a huge difference adding in this little bit of purple. It's like not about whether it's realistic or not. This is the artistry, I guess. Making artistic decisions. Gets to the point where I'm leaving the reference image. Leaving the reference image. I'm done with the reference image. It's so cute. It's so cute. Okay, good. Yeah, I think that's enough for him too. I don't think I need any other colors. So now I shall close up my colored pencils and retrieve a gel pen, white gel pen. Let's see, where should I get one from? I have them all over the place. Guess I'll try my basic, or not basic, what is it? No, it's basic. I don't know what it is. It's my main sketch kit that I use for most of my projects. Get it out of this box. I'm pretty sure I have a white gel pen in there. Satoita says, I'm actually looking through a book of figure painter Lucian Freud, who intentionally distorted the body parts, but still captured the lifelike tones and shading, etc. Ooh, I think that's, yeah, I think that's, it's sort of what I'm doing. Like, I thought it was so fun in some painting classes when we were told to, and I'm pretty sure you did this too. I feel like I saw you do it before I took the class, but it was like, look at the pinks and the yellows and the blues under the skin, which you don't know, like, even like with my hand right now, like, and then here's some blue, and then here's like super pink, and like my skin is just very pink, but yeah, and then like you just put a bunch of blue and then you paint like what is the overall skin tone on top of that. I love that kind of thing, and I don't remember if I learned that from that class, but I love that idea, and I definitely have always tried to imitate it or carry it on, not imitate it, carry it on in my marker and colored pencil works too. I'm very glad this is the exact size of gel pen I wanted too. And it was in there. So now, more important than anything else, I don't want to forget adding those little tiny feathers on this part of the nose. Or his beak. I mean, it's weird because his mouth and his nose is the same thing. But this is his nostril, so this part feels like a nose part. That probably doesn't make any sense, but okay, and this adds a little bit of highlights here and there. Of course, it does not like writing on anywhere where I use colored pencil. That's good. Let's see, maybe a little bit on the tips of these feathers here. And then I wanted to put some more where the feathers are covering up the wing. There's some areas where the marker came over a little too far, so I'm just reclaiming that area. And maybe I can do a little bit. I mean, it's so subtle you can't really see it, but I'll do a little bit. And then he does have, I don't think it'll even show up, but he does have one little highlight right here on his beaky. There, I sort of covered up that little marker splotch that was bothering me. Looks like there's a little bit, like there was something stuck on this pen when I first started. It made a little dark line, but I just tapped it. Okay, now I wanted to look at Sora. Oops, where are you going, Kumo? You stay right there. I have my Sora Chibi drawing. Oh yeah, I thought so. I added some extra cutie highlights in the eyes on the Chibi Sora pigeon, so I'm gonna do the same thing with the Chibi Kumo pigeon. Ha! So Tweety says, your sleeves are reminding me of my thumbnail sketches of a bee. Why? Because they're spiky or because it's stripes? This is my All Might hoodie. I just bought it because My Hero Academia has been really good. I mean, it's always really good. But I was like, I need to express my feelings through clothing. And I bought this hoodie. So... And it's really nice. It's so soft on the inside and everything. I really like it. It's not just a cosplay hoodie. It's like a nice hoodie in and of itself. So I'm looking this over, and I think these little extra cutie highlights are all I need to do. Well, all I want to do before I call it finished. Oh, I will need to sign it too, but oh my god, it's so cute! Okay. Put that back in my kit and get a, what's a good size for signing? I think a 05 is what I usually like. And a signature on here. Wow, perfect timing. There's only 3 minutes left. Wow, Kumo, it's because Kumo is like the cutest. So it's really easy to make the chibi of him. Ah, it's because of the stripes. Yep. Let's see. Camera, come on. Sometimes you do so well on your own. Okay, so here's the Chibi Kumo. He's done. Yay! I guess I'll hold him as close as it can be. It's as close as it can be. All is it, and you can see, I think that I got a pretty good imitation of that interesting texture that's on that part of his beak. And I got the line that is in his beak too. And the fun purple shading. Yay! So Chibi Kumo is done. So next week I'll start, probably do Chappie next. My small dog, Chappie, will be my next Chibi Friday. But ah, my favorite funny thingies. Wingos. Yay! Oh, and Satsushi says he is super cute. Yay! Awesome. Feels good. Feels good to finish a chibi and to finish it like with perfect timing. Oh, even perfect timing because sounds like my dogs are back from the vet. Oh yeah, Chap. Did you hear that? That was Chappie whining at my door. The door is like not latched, like she could push it open, but she never does. Maybe her nose is too sensitive. She doesn't push, she just cries at the door and then leaves if I don't open it. It's not latched, it's just, you know, against the door frame. Whatever. Oh, you heard it. Yep. Well, it's perfect timing. I can call it good for today and then go comfort Chappie. She's done at the scary vet. I don't know how she did. Maybe it wasn't scary for her. Maybe it was fine. Hopefully it was. I don't want her to be scared. Alright. Yes! So, I will hopefully see you guys next week. I'll be back with my normal live streaming schedule. That's it for today and this week. Thank you for watching.